Dancing houses of Amsterdam.
They're washing, drying, well, you know, like you laid up on the side of the couch, like it's flexible. Maybe I'll be trying to like. Sorry? And wake up and get all the lights.
Probably went by.
Hey, Constance. That's delicious. That was Tom Cruise. No, Tom Hanks.
We're now approaching the Waterloo Plain. It's located adjacent to the City Hall, the large red brick building. The original Waterloo Plain was an island built in the 17th century to create a space for Jewish settlers. At the time, it was called Fluyenberg, for Flooding Island. Over time, the name morphed into Flooyenburg, for Flea Island, and the bustling market held here was called the Flea Market.
For centuries, Jewish traders sold their wares here. The market continues to operate and is now known as the largest flea market in the Netherlands.
You'd have to get on it at 1 o'clock to get up the top by 8. Because they go like...
We're about to pass through one of the city's old locks. The small, tippy black building was once the lockmaster's house. It's now a pub and cafe full of 17th century charm, stone floors, wooden benches, and exposed ceiling beams. Its outdoor patio is a great place for watching boats on the canal.
Yeah, summer. I like that with the fairy lights around it. This is self-plugging away. Should just be the 84 months. I'm done. The reflection, yeah. It makes a big difference.
We are now on the Oude or Outer Trench Canal. During the 16th century, it served as a defense canal. All the city's canals served one or more of these functions, as a transportation route, a line of defense, or a way to manage water levels. The Odeschans, because of its size and location, did all of these. Because it was one of the only canals wide enough for large ships to sail, and because of its proximity to the harbor, the Odeschans became a convenient place to unload cargo.
It's not on 48 hours, it's sometime within 48 hours. Just random, just do a check.
Just get a check.
We're now traveling along what was once the outer defense wall of the city. The original city boundary was to the right, to the left, salt marsh and the North Sea. The red brick tower coming up ahead of us is the medieval Montalbanstoren. An ideal lookout for sighting potential invaders, it was built to protect the city's shipyards, wharves, and warehouses from attack. From here, Dutch soldiers armed with longbows, crossbows, and early firearms called arquebuses kept watch over the wide expanses below.
The tower's white spire and clocks were added a century later. They were designed by Hendrik de Keyser, an architect whose work can be seen around Amsterdam, and who you're certain to hear more about on this cruise. The clocks couldn't keep time, and the tower's bells rang out randomly, so locals gave it the nickname Silly Jack.
Not long after the spire and clocks were added, the tower began to list to one side. With some effort, it was pulled to rights. You might be wondering why so many buildings in the city tip to one side or the other. The ground in Amsterdam, a mix of peat, sand, and soil, is very soft. Because of this, buildings were generally designed to be as light as possible. None were very tall, and they often had lots of windows. For stability, they were built on a bed of wooden piles driven as deep as 15 meters, that's 45 feet, into the ground. But if these piles were exposed to the air, they began to rot, and the buildings they supported sank and shifted. Today, water levels in and around the city are carefully controlled to minimize rotting. When new piles are needed, they're made of concrete. Still, you'll see many a house with a sideways tilt.
The Montalbanstoren was a place where sailors gathered before setting out to sea. The journeys were long and difficult, and not everyone returned. Legend has it that the women who loved them also came here to say goodbye, perhaps forever.
We are now in the Oosterdock, or East Harbor. It was constructed at the beginning of the 19th century. The tall, green ship-like building is NEMO, the Children's Center for Science and Technology. With lots of interactive exhibits, it's a popular place for families. As much as it looks like a ship, that wasn't the original intention. The famous Italian architect, Renzo Piano, designed NEMO as an inverse reflection of the A tunnel, which runs beneath it. The building's height equals the depth of the tunnel. NEMO gets its green color from the oxidated copper that covers its walls. There's a unique sand-filled terrace on the roof where you'll find sunbathers searching for rays while enjoying beautiful views of the harbor and the city.
To our right is Amsterdam's library, the largest in the Netherlands. This 9-story building is nicknamed the Tower of Knowledge. You can catch another great view of Oosterdock and the city from its top floor cafe. Just past the library, there's a large, brightly colored building floating in the harbor. This is the Sea Palace, one of Amsterdam's many Asian restaurants. The city boasts a wide range of international restaurants, Turkish, Moroccan, French, Indonesian, that reflect its very diverse population. Interested in eating authentic Dutch cuisine? For starters, you might try some herring or eel. pea soup with sausage or bacon, or a Dutch-style pancake.
An ABC class. Both. You can use it for either.
Ah, yeah.
Every channel.
The building with flags atop it is the former Scheepvaart House, or shipping house. A group of shipping companies ran their businesses from here. This early 20th century building is considered to be the first true example of the Amsterdam school style of architecture. The front of the building is impressively adorned with statues of Neptune, his wife, and 4 figures that represent the points of the compass. The building is decorated inside and out with all kinds of nautical symbols, anchors, ships, and famous Dutch mariners. It's now a 5-star luxury hotel. We're now heading back to where our tour began, as we draw closer to the mouth of the Amstel River, where Amsterdam was first established. Let's move back in time once more. Again, we see the large Baroque-style St. Nicholas Church, named after the patron saint of seafarers. After the Protestant Reformation, Catholics were not allowed to practice their religion publicly in Amsterdam. They built secret churches, hidden away in secular buildings. One of these, the Ons Lieve hier op zolder, or Our Lord in the Attic, is now another museum you can visit while in Amsterdam. In the late 18th century, French rulers restored Catholic rights to worship openly, and this church was built shortly after.
Let's move further back to the 17th century, when Amsterdam was one of the wealthiest and most powerful cities in Europe. At that time, the round Schreier's Tower that sits in front of St. Nicholas Church had already been standing at the city's edge for 200 years. Many ships set sail from here, including the Dutch East Indian Company's first expedition. At the beginning of the Golden Age, the English explorer Henry Hudson also set sail from the Schreier's Tower. He was in search of a new trade route to the East Indies on behalf of the Dutch East Indian Company. Instead, he found North America and the river that now bears his name. The tower has a plaque commemorating his journey.
Coming full circle, we're now approaching Damrak, the original mouth of the Amstel, and nearing the end of our cruise. It's here where the Amstel once met the egg that a few peasants with dreams of building a future spawned this great city. Clearly, their ingenuity and hard work have paid off. That first dam across the river started a series of events that's led to the incredibly unique and picturesque Amsterdam we're able to enjoy today.
And thanks for joining me on that river cruise. Just about 1 hour, and we're heading to dinner.